There goes that mongoose again. Dagon! Dagon, hey! What are you doing? I know you can hear me with those ears. Elliot the groundhog had noticed Dagon seemed up in arms lately, mostly due to his main crush spurning him, without so much as an explanation or even a note. Before this beleaguering occurrence, Dagon was considered to be a nice mongoose, handsome, and a good fellow who kept mostly to himself without incident. But now he was hell on wheels, and you never knew what he was going to do. Maina must have had her reasons for her abject repudiation of him, but honestly, it was anyone's guess. Did Dagon bore her, claw her, or hot-foot her missing power bead bracelet to the pawn shop? Mina worked hard to string that bracelet stone by stone, laying it so carefully on the slumping riverbank prior to her bath rituals. Everyone, including the egrets, thought the cat's eye colors looked so elegant on her ankles, right above her pink pedicured claws. But friends close to her pondered how Dagon always had money for Marlboros, which were expensive, and anyone might wonder how he paid for those. There was a time when no creature in the county, including the sensitive red deer, would have considered Dagon capable of theft or bodily harm. But these gifted woodland seers were the first to become mistrustful. Once Maina deemed Dagon an unfit suitor, his true colors emerged, and no one trusted he hadn't always been this way, causing everyone to regard him as a very sus mongoose. Maina wasn't talking, either out of consideration for Dagon or caution, and those closest to her stopped asking, that is, before she went missing. Her recent disappearance was of great concern to everyone, especially in light of the county's diligent efforts to locate her. But the dignified Maina was never one to be afraid or run from adversity, although a few local eagles and crows had noticed she was swollen with peculiar bluing of her fur and wondered if Dagon had anything to do with it. Elliot knew without the facts it was too soon to accuse Dagon of anything. Dagon! I don't think he can hear me now. Looks like he's headed for the bridge, Amos. The passing Appaloosa had stopped to observe the search party picking through the tall fescue grass across the river for signs of Maina, noting they'd gained in numbers since yesterday. But Elliot had much more interest in Dagon, now scaling the steep slope in closer proximity, and Elliot turned his gaze back to him. Seems nothing good ever comes from being on that bridge, Amos. Look at Dagon. Think he'll jump? Dagon! But shady Dagon had no intention of taking his own life. He was much too egoic and proud of his sleek fur to mess it all up. Dagon did, however, have something prepared to throw in the river, a secret, and apparently no one that morning had noticed the tiny moth-eaten gunny sack strung behind his shiny flank as he bolted toward the old wooden bridge. Neither Elliot nor Amos had a clue of Dagon's demented plan, which later others would rabbit on about, saying it would have been so much better if he jumped off that bridge himself. Looks like the whole county and everyone's dog is out there, Amos said, pointing away from the sunny side of the riverbank, now enshadowed by the sneakily ascending Dagon. As the search party soldiered on from far away, Dagon picked his way through splintered planks on the opposite side of the bridge, clearly not looking for Maina, who remained mysteriously elusive to all parties, including the Good Samaritans and hounds howling out for her since yesterday morning. She's probably hiding out in one of those gypsy circus tents, Amos said. I wonder why no one's searching there. As it turned out, that's exactly where Maina was, at that moment stationed in front of a glowing crystal ball, where she learned her tiny kidnapped baby daughter had a plan of her own, which involved a harrowing fate for Dagon, who didn't in the least bit suspect it. He'd nabbed the tiny infant without care for consequences, not realizing he was no match for this spawn of Mena's venerable lineage of tuxedo cats, endowed to cast spells on devious demons like Dagon. As it so happened, the little baby Pari, at a mere 2 days of age, was already one of the most potent virtuosos on earth. Reassured by the kind gypsy of her baby daughter's powers, Mena was able to kick up her claws and stay put for a while, awaiting news of her newborn's first triumph. Meanwhile, Dagon's carefully manicured paw had lodged itself between 2 splintered bridge planks, and as he struggled to free himself, Pari slipped out from within the crusty, moth-eaten sack beneath his flank to execute her plan. As noted, it would have been better for Dagon to hurl himself into the river of his own accord, but little Pari didn't want things to go easily for him. With haste and masterful handiwork, she proceeded to tear the fleece out of Dagon's sleek hide clump by clump, without care for his discomfort nor embarrassment, until rendering him the baldest mongoose in the county, before hurling him into the river. In due time, the search party would spot him and come to his rescue, and Dagon would live on, however devoid of his cherished coat, to produce a nefarious son. Esteemed baby Pari would flourish in many forms and bequeath to her offspring a silver bracelet of angels and skulls, offered with devotion to her much anticipated incarnation, destined to become the most revered and formidable goddess to reign on earth. But that's another story.